Let's get into applications, which is a euphemism for word problems. Okay. Example 1, we have the average systolic blood pressure estimated by the equation, where A is the person's age in years and P of A is a person's blood pressure in millimeters of mercury, mmHg. Okay, so a couple of things. We know that A is going to be our age, and then we know P, or P of A, is our blood pressure. And we know that we are working with the equation. P of A is equal to 0.005 A squared plus 0.02 A plus 120. Okay, part A. What type of function is being used to model the average blood pressure? How do you know? Well, we have a highest exponent of 2. It's also in standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c, which means that we have a quadratic function. So I worked backwards. I said how we knew before I gave the total, but whenever you have the highest exponent or degree 2, or you're in that standard form, you know you have a quadratic. Okay. Let's try part B. Part B says, what is the average systolic blood pressure? We said average systolic blood pressure is P. And they're asking, what is P of a 37-year-old? That's an age. So that's A to the nearest 10th. So they're saying find P when A is equal to 37. So we have our function, that P of A. Now we need to find P of 37. So every time we see an A, we are going to plug in the 37. So instead of 0.005 A squared, we're going to have 0.005 times 37 squared plus 0.02 times 37 plus 120. And you can put this into your calculator exactly from there. You should get 127.585. And they're asking us to round to the nearest 10th. 10th is 1 decimal point, which means we're going to look at the second decimal point. The 8 is enough to round us up, and we find out that the blood pressure is 127.6 mmHg. You need to be able to identify and explain what you found. If we just say 127.6 and we tell our boss that, they will have no idea what we mean. Okay? You have to be able to explain your answers and your work. Let's try another one. Part C. It says if a person has a systolic blood pressure of 134.72, so they're telling us that P is equal to 134.72. What is their age? Remember, age was A to the nearest whole year. So they're saying that we need to find A when P is 134.72. So we're going to take our equation, which was our 0.005 x squared plus 0.02x plus 120, and we're going to set that equal to our 134.72. We have a quadratic equation, and we can use the quadratic formula. But to do that, we need to move that 134 over. So our 0.005 x squared plus 0.02x is going to stay where it is. When we subtract the 134.72 from both sides, we get negative 14.72. And now we have that equal to 0. Because we're going to use the quadratic formula, because you don't want to factor this, I don't want to factor this. We can't use square root property because that middle term, we need to identify A, B, and C. In this case, A, our leading coefficient, is 0.005. B is on our linear term, our middle term, that x to the first, which is 0.02. And C is going to be negative 14.72. It's our constant term. And we are going to plug in to our quadratic formula. If you don't remember what the quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So plugging into the quadratic formula, we're going to have x is equal to negative b, which was our 0.02, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is going to be 0.02 squared, minus 4 times a, which is that 0.005, times c, which is going to be our negative 14.72. All over 2 times a, which is our 0.005. Start simplifying stuff down. We're going to have negative 0.02 plus or minus the square root all over 2 times 0.005 is 0.01. Let's go back to what's under the radical. You're going to take this entire radicand without the radical, plug it into your calculator, and you should be getting 0.2948. If you're not getting that, double check your parentheses and if you dropped any signs. When you take the square root of the 0.2948, we should be getting negative 0.02 plus or minus 0.01, but that radical should now be 0.54295. We're not done yet. We need to split it into our two cases because we have the plus minus. So our first case is that x is equal to negative 0.02 plus 0.54295 all over 0.01. And our second case is x is equal to negative 0.02 minus 0.54295 all over 0.01. Our first case gets us to 52.295. Our second case gets us to negative 56.295. Remember that we cannot have a negative age, so we're going to throw out that second one, and we find rounding to the nearest whole year, that would be 52, which means a 52-year-old has a blood pressure or systolic blood pressure of, what did they tell us the pressure was? 134.72. Again, you have to be able to explain your answer. If we just tell them our answer is 52, they won't know what we're talking about.